Hey guys, today we're going to be installing an Edge EZX on a 2018 Dodge Cummins 6.7. And the Edge EZ has been around for a long time. And the EZ has evolved over time as well. It used to be on a lot of different platforms, two connections, and that was the way you made your power. With this module, there's going to be 4 different connections that are going to be made on the truck. And what does the Edge EZ do? Well, the module itself has got 5 different power levels in it, and it'll get you 5 different power levels from 10 horsepower all the way to 40 horsepower. And its design is plug and play. It's designed to give you a little bit of a boost in horsepower. That's going to get you a little bit better efficiency, give you better towing ability, just better overall efficiency of the truck. Get you a little bit better fuel economy in some instances, easy on the emissions equipment. So that's what really makes the Edge EZ nice. So if you're looking for an entry-level module that's going to give you a power boost and just give you better drivability of the truck, definitely suggest that you check out the Edge EZ. So on the 6.7, the installation is going to be pretty simple here. There's going to be 4 connections in the main harness. You're going to have your MAP connection, your MAF connection at the air filter, fuel rail pressure sensor. It's going to hook up at the throttle position sensor inside the truck, and then of course you have your Edge EZ module that controls everything. And the nice thing about this module is it's going to be controllable with your steering wheel controls. You can download the app for the Edge EZX and get even more adjustability inside of the power levels themselves. Change tire size. You can erase trouble codes, which makes it a tool, not only a tool, but a performance module as well. So enough about the Edge EZX. Comes with really good instructions with it as well. Let's go ahead and get underneath of the hood. Now, when you get under the hood of this truck, you're going to see we've already got the intake horn off the truck. That was for a previous installation video that we were working on. So we had the truck already broke down and gave us good line of sight on the driver's side of that engine. So we left the horn off, but you don't have to remove your intake horn off the truck if you don't want to, but we do already have it off of the truck. Once we get our fuel rail pressure sensor hook connection done, we're going to drop that horn back on and then show you the other connections that we're going to be making on the truck. So let's go ahead and get started with our installation. All right, in this clip of the video we lost sound, but what I did is the first connection in the Edge EZX is the one we like to make first, is at the fuel rail pressure sensor. And what I'm doing here is I've got a core fuel rail that we got out of our core department, and I'm showing the actual fuel rail pressure sensor hookup on the Edge EZX harness. The yellow clip on the fuel pressure sensor is a little bit finicky on these trucks, so just pay attention to that. And here what I'm doing is I'm showing you where the fuel rail pressure sensor is. It's on the back of the fuel rail, and here I've got it facing forward of the camera, but this would be back of the fuel rail. And I'm just showing the connection with the Edge EZX. It can only go on one way, and I explained that once I picked the wiring harness up here, and then the connection is just push it until it clicks. And I think what I'm probably talking about here is, and inside the truck we talk about this as well, as orientation of the fuel rail pressure sensor. Sometimes it can be down, so it makes it just a little bit difficult to get to. So we're showing the mating up of the fuel rail pressure sensor hooked into the Edge EZX module, and I show the top side of this here where it's going to click on to the stock harness. So we'll make that connection here, and then obviously we'll make it daisy chained into your stock harness. So connection here, slide everything up till it clips, and then push your locking mechanism to lock it down. It's a secondary click, and I talked about that there, and then I'm just pushing the locking mechanism down to lock it onto the fuel rail pressure sensor. So we got set up in the engine bay. We're just going to talk about a couple things that we did to prep. Obviously we isolated our battery cables. We've got both of our negatives off, and we've got those isolated. And like I said before, I've already got the intake off of this truck. This has got the Banks big ram intake on it, and that ram is, or that intake manifold is just large. So to be able to give myself access to this, I already had it removed, so I left it off. Now, the fuel rail, like I was telling you, has got this foam isolator over it that really kind of hinders the ability to see back in there to the fuel rail pressure sensor. And I want to get the GoPro down here and I'm going to show you that, but it can be gotten to without having to remove this foam isolator. So with foam isolator, if you want to take it off, it's fine. You're going to have to take the crankcase breathers off and then kind of move these wiring harnesses. You can actually just go ahead and unhook this wiring harness right here at the injector wiring harness and then move it out of your way. Then move that foam piece. You know, like I said, if you've got time to do it, you can do it, but it can be done. It can be gotten to without the you can get to it without moving the foam isolator. So I'm going to stop the GoPro here since we've talked about this, and I'm going to kind of get my bearings and get you back there to show you getting to that fuel rail pressure sensor real quick. I don't know that I'm going to be able to show everything that I want to show here, but I'm going to do my best, because I remember when we did the intake on this truck, our fuel rail pressure sensor, the connection on it is facing down, which is the absolute worst place that it can be. It's not impossible to get to. Let me tell you something, it sucks. So let me get set up here. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take the GoPro down here and we're gonna kind of show you where the fuel rail pressure sensor is. You can see once you get back here, this small wiring harness at the back going towards the back of the rail, this is the wiring harness that leads you to your fuel rail pressure sensor. So if you follow it, you're going to lead yourself to the fuel rail pressure sensor. And what I like to do is I just grab the foam isolator and pull up on it, and then just kind of move it out of my way like so, and then that gives you access to the fuel rail pressure sensor. And I'm going to try to get my hand back there and put my hand on the sensor itself. You can kind of see that right there. Let me move the camera, kind of get a line of shot right there. You can just barely see that fuel rail pressure sensor. If I had just a little bit more light, I could show you where my yellow clasp is on it, facing down here, down on it, and where my hand is right now. I've just about got exactly where I need to be, so I'm going to stop the GoPro right here, and then I want to try to set up and get just a little bit more light on this connection, and we'll be right back with you. All right, so center your frame, you can just see a little faint glimmer of a yellow thing right in the center of your screen there. That is the latch, that is the safety connector for the fuel rail pressure sensor, and you can kind of see my finger back there wiggling, and that is what we got going for, and it is facing down. So if the engineer that put this together, or the assembly man that put this together, is watching, I hope you stub your toe. We're not going to be able to film this going forward. I showed you how to disconnect it. I've showed you where it is. You just got to get in there and get it and growl. So I'm going to get it disconnected, and then I'm going to show you hooking up the edge connector. All right, so we've got our fuel rail pressure sensor. This is our stock one, and then we have our edge harness right here. We're just going to go ahead and show you that first connection that we make to our edge harness here, and just go ahead and push that till it clips, and then put your safety latch on it so you're good to go there. And then this side of it, you will just trace it back, feed it back, and you'll go back to the fuel rail pressure sensor. You kind of want to make sure you get it oriented the way it came off. What I'm doing here with my hand is I'm just trying to get an access to it. Adam's fighting to get the shot here. I'm fighting to give him the shot. Push it till it clips, and then put your safety clip on, and then trace your edge wire out. You've got your most difficult connection of the whole deal done, and ready to go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try to pull the edge harness out, and then we're going to get this intake we're going to get block that light out for you. We're going to get our intake back on, and then we can show you the rest of the connections that you're going to make underneath the hood here. So got our Banks intake elbow back on, and we just wanted to show you the routing that we were going to use for our for the rest of our sensors here for our Edge EZX. And I tell you, I'm having a crisis here. I'm trying to decide whether I want to run my mass airflow sensor down and underneath and around the front over there, that mass airflow sensor, because I think it'd just be tucked in there so good. All right, settled it. That's the way I want to go. So mass airflow sensor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this around the front, run it underneath of the EGR pipe here. I want to run it along this wiring harness that is for the our grid heater power wire, and I'll zip tie that and make sure it doesn't get into the fan, but I think that looks the best right there, and that's the direction I'm going to go with it. So first we're going to do our mass airflow sensor. Our mass airflow sensor on the box is the one that's got the locking tab here that we want to get disengaged, and that's JT back there, he's singing. So we're going to disengage the lock, and we're going to hook our edge side in. So we want to hook our edge side and lock it, and then back to the factory harness and lock it there as well. So we routed that back at them, and so we've got that long end. So next we're going to do our connection at the map. So the map is on the back of the air intake, and it doesn't have a lock on it, thank goodness. So what we're gonna do is push it and disengage it from the sensor. So we'll hook the edge in right there. Gotta turn it around the right direction. Push it to the box, and then back to the sensor. Push this till it locks, like so. All right, so the final sensor that we've got that we need to make a connection at, I'm sorry, I'm just talking to talk apparently. This is where our edge box is going to go, and we'll come back and show you that. You want to disconnect the harness here that's going to go inside of the truck. So this portion is going to go to your accelerator pedal position, and I'm going to run it through the firewall. So we'll go ahead and have it disconnected and ready. And then this ring terminal right here is going to go to the positive side of the battery, and we'll tuck all that in as well. So we're going to get our Edge EZX module, and what we're going to do is we're going to run this wiring harness over here. I'm going to put the EZX module right over there and get everything cleaned up and get our ring terminal here on the positive. Again, this ring terminal goes to the positive side of the battery, and we'll get that on, and then we'll move inside the cab. All right, so we've got everything underneath of the hood cleaned up, and we've got all of our under the hood connections made. So now we're going to take this tag end of the EZX wiring harness, and we're going to go ahead and route it through the firewall. This truck, when we got it, had a CB on it. We took the CB out of it, so we already had there's an access plate where would normally be the clutch master cylinder, and that's what we use for our access. We just used the hole that was already there. So I've got that wire fed through the firewall as so. And then we're going to get inside the cab, and we're going to make our the connection at our global port, and then the connection at our throttle position sensor. So this is our little harness that connects to the Edge EZX harness that we just pushed through the firewall. Can't see it yet, but I'm going to get you down there on the GoPro. So this connection is going to be at the throttle position sensor on this side here, and then this is going to go into your global connection, and I'm going to show you where that is down there. This goes to any open port that's on that global box down there, so we'll show you that here in just a second. All right, so our first connection is here at the throttle position sensor, so we're just going to unhook that wiring harness, and then we will hook our Edge EZX into it, and then the female side of the EZX will go back to the throttle position sensor, and then push the slide lock down on that. So we're going to make sure that when we route this out of the way of the brake pedal, of course, and then the EZX harness is right here. Sorry about the light situation. Uh-oh, there we go. So you got your Edge EZX harness right here. So we will hook the EZX to that, and then we're going to go to this global box right here,
The global box, it can go into any of the open ports. If you can see that, I've got one open port right there, and that is where we're going to hook this. Sorry about the shaky camera. Another shot here, and now we're not on a roller coaster ride, but the open port on my global box is right here. So I'm going to, again, try to do this one-handed, hook my EZX harness up here, and I'll just flip it over the correct way. And push it in until it clips. And then the last connection that I've got to make is back to the EZX harness right here. I know I can't do that one-handed, but you guys see it and you know what's got to be done. So we're going to hook this in, and then we're going to show you how to set the dash up. All right, we're inside the cab of the truck right now, and what we want to show you is the info line. Up here on the screen, you can see where it says coolant 100 degrees on here. In the info line of this truck and this dash setup, and if you have the other dash setup, it'll work this way as well. You can change that info line to show you the power level that the Edge EZX is at, and that's really, really simple setup. So we're going to show you how to do that. So you want to scroll down here to screen setup, and go to screen setup and hit the right button, and then go to info line and hit right again, and then just go up and select audio. And to select it, you just hit right and it'll check audio. So now audio will be selected. So now we go back out to the main screen here and scroll up to the top where the info line is back, and you will see that the stock, it says stock right there. Now when you hit on the cruise control settings on the right hand side of your steering wheel, when you hit the plus, it changes power levels, and it shows you what power level that it's in. And that's just a really, really nice feature of that. So you can hit the cancel button, actually shows you the power level that you want to be in, but with it set on audio, it's going to be there anyway. So we're going to take this truck out and we're going to do a little ride along and show you what, and tell you what we like about the Edge tuning, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Edge EZX app that you can download for your phone. All right, so we're on our ride along on the Edge EZX right now, and so far, very, very impressed. We've gone probably 4 or 5 miles. You know, obviously, as soon as we got out of shop, it's the same thing you all are going to do. We tried it out in level 5, and level 5 is 40 horsepower. Level 1 is 10 horsepower, and it's incremental between 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 5 to that. And truck really, really drives nice. And I tell you, the one thing that the higher power level does for just drivability, we're not towing or anything like that. The one thing that I do notice with this is, I mean, I'm just barely got my foot on the throttle, and we're just maintaining, you know, 55 mile per hour. This road's got a lot of hills on it and whatnot, so the truck's not struggling with it. So again, this truck is bone stock, save for the fleece cheetah that's on it. But I tell you, the 40 horsepower tuning this really, really pairs well with that cheetah turbo, that drop-in performance turbo. So really, really nice setup. We're going to go back to the shop, and what we're going to do there is we're going to kind of walk you through the Edge EZX app. And the EZX app really unlocks so much more in this EZ module, and the kind of the evolution of what that module is. Evolution was a bad word to use there, because that's another Edge product, but the evolution of the Edge EZ that we have now. So we're going to be able to adjust throttle sensitivity. We're going to be able to read and clear diagnostic codes. So this thing is not only is it a power module, it's actually a tool that's going to help you with your diagnostics on the truck, and then help you to just drive in or dial in the drivability of the truck. So we'll be back to the shop, but so far power is there, feels good. Even 40 horsepower makes a nice difference in this 2018 truck. It really runs good. When you mash the accelerator, it puts a smile on your face. That's what a power module. That's one of the nice things about a power module that we don't talk about. Yeah, it's going to raise the efficiency of the truck. Yeah, you're going to get more horsepower. Yeah, depending on your truck setup, you may get better fuel economy. You're going to have better drivability, but you want to mash the throttle and you want to smile. So there it is. You know, hey, you mash it, ass down, nose up. We go down the road. Here we go. So we'll go back to the shop. We'll break out the Edge EZX, and we'll go through the app and show you some more features here.
Okay, we wanted to do a screen recording and show you the functionality of the Edge EZX module. And I got to be honest with you, I really am. If you watched our ride along, I am super impressed with this little module, and this app is just the icing on the cake for the module. And I'm not just going on and on about it because we're doing a video about Edge and about this module. I really am super impressed with this. I'm super impressed with the functionality of this app, and that's what we're going to show you here with this little screen recording. So I just want to show you everything that is available on here, and I'm going to touch each one and show you what you've got here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on everything. I just want you to see it. So you can change power levels via the app. The app is available on the Apple Store or your Android store. It is a free download. You can get it when you first pair it up with the module. You have to be within a foot of the Edge EZX module itself. But then once it's paired, Bluetooth on, you're ready to go. So, all right. So back to the app itself here. Now, just show you all the features of this. You can change the power levels on the fly. You can change tire size. With the tire size, I thought was a really nice feature on that as well. Change gear ratio if you need to. Second line here, the TPMS. I really like this feature. This is the TPMS or disable if you want to. So I've got it. I had the key. I'm sorry, I didn't have the key on there, but let's pull it back up. TPMS here, and you can. With this, the TPMS enable or disable, you can leave the TPMS system on, but you can disable the light. So right now, this truck is a perfect example, perfect candidate for that. I've got a TPMS sensor that's acting up. Tires are fine, but the sensor is acting up. I've just turned the light off until I can get a TPMS sensor, but you can still bring it up in the driver information center and figure out what the tire pressures are. So that's a nice feature of that, but you can turn the light off. So pretty cool. Button recall, second line here in the middle, button recall. I love this. If you guys are towing like Adam and I do, the one most aggravating things, and Adam's always fussing me, when we get in the truck, so we're towing, when we get in the truck, we stop and we get a hamburger or something, get back in the truck, I always forget to put the truck back in tow haul and turn the exhaust brake on. Adam's like, man, you better do something about this. We ain't gonna be able to stop. So this is nice because you can set this up for your tow haul button and your exhaust brake to be automatically cycled, irregardless of what the key, as many times as you shut the truck off and turn it back on. So that's a super nice feature. You got your turbo timer. You can set this up to let the truck cool down after you shut it off. That's going to save you on the life of your turbo there. You got your max cruise speed that you can set up here for your cruise control settings. That's another nice feature. The fog and high beams, a lot of guys are going to love this, but you can leave your fog lights on when your high beams are on. We won't talk about that as far as legalities or whatever. But the ECT Protect, you can set up a coolant temperature for a shutdown here if the truck gets too hot. DPF regen, this is huge because you guys know this. If you need to force a regen, it's impossible to do if you don't have the ability to do it. So this module gives you that. And then the diagnostics. Diagnostics, you can read and clear diagnostic codes inside the truck, and you can clear them as well. You can also use this to check readiness. This module, for an entry-level power module, the Edge EZX, these features cover so many different aspects of your ownership of a vehicle and being able to diagnose what you've got going on and then set the drivability of the vehicle the way you want it in these kind of user-defined settings. So we are super impressed with the Edge EZX, and with a big shout out to Edge for sending us this module for this installation. They've really knocked it out of the park with this module and the app and the functionality of it. Big thumbs up from us. So guys, if you got one of these 13 to 18 Dodges and you're just looking for a little bit more oomph and you're looking for a little bit of adjustability and you're looking for some user interface, definitely check out the Edge EZX. Thanks for watching.